We're live, pal.
My internet's not great.
Okay,
right
well, I got us. Don't worry.
Hello and welcome to the Filter Free Podcast. I am your host, TJ Stevens.
Problematic.
Out of my left earbud.
Getting off to a banging start here.
Joining me as always,
Step hens.
Dollar Bill Dave.
I touched myself.
I just need to clip that. Just Dave leaning for. I touched myself.
And Timmy C.
Goo, goo, goo.
Dave's is awesome, and he got a new hat, and it's hilarious. Are you drunk? Yes or no? And it's marked on the right-hand side for both.
Time limit drawers get my panties wet. I love it.
We've covered this butt wipe on a few different occasions.
Butt wipe?
You don't call people butt wipe anymore?
No, I'm not 7. Good news is I've limited the producer's amount to screw us over this, so we're actually going to get to sing along with the songs now. You are welcome.
You gotta play for your right to party!
Pow!
Hello and welcome to the Filter Free Podcast. I'm your host, TJ Stevens.
Step ins.
Joining me as always, Dollar Bill Dave.
Go Knowles.
It ain't
And
that time
Timmy
yet.
C.
Who?
I am back to full health. I'm not shitting my pants, or at least in
Well,
fear
good,
of.
because I was going to cut the seat out from under you and just.
I don't have gas pains to the point I thought I had a hernia. That was game event this past week for those of you who watched it. Which, by the way, thank you all for making it. I believe that was our most watched event we've done ever. Was that
Till tonight.
Till this. So thank you guys for that. If you didn't watch it, and if you listen regularly, you know we played that for the opportunity for some of our Patreon subscribers to play the match game with us and win a Sweet Life ticket of the future. And we got him. We got T-Rob to the main event.
Back to the future.
He fell short, which means we didn't give away sweet tickets.
Rematch.
Well, we might be doing something different, so keep an eye out and an ear out for that. I do know there's going to be another opportunity to win a sweet ticket coming again for a future event. It seems like the next one's going to be AEW in Chicago in September. It's kind of iffy because of it's no longer Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
which
asshole
really,
Tony Khan.
Which really messed up some people's travels plans. But regardless, again, we've been to St. Louis, Tampa, Chicago 3 times. Nashville.
Not Memphis.
Idiot. We went to Nashville is what I meant to say. So, I mean, we could...
But Montana.
Butte, Montana. Grand Forks, North Dakota. Frog Bowls, Arkansas.
We went to the Butt Battle Roll.
The Labatt's Butte Battle Royal.
I live a half hour from Possum Trot, Kentucky. Does that count?
Possum Trot, Kentucky.
I would never admit that.
It's awesome. I'll take a picture of the sign and send it to you.
I thought I was bad for being raised in a place called Fish Lake, Indiana.
That's terrible.
When I
I'm gonna go look for a town called Deer Anus, Alabama.
Probably is one.
When I grew up, I lived a half hour from Big Bone Lick State Park.
I love it. I'm a big fan already.
Is that where Efren's from?
Speaking of Efren, how great was Efren this past weekend on the game event?
Awesome. He's so damn good.
Well, I guess technically it was this past weekend's recording. It was 9 days ago when this airs.
Forever ago.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what happens between now and then. Please remember to subscribe and rate and review this show. Leave a review. Tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, which is nothing. And, just so we know what to correct, what to keep doing, so on and so forth. While you're at it, follow the show on Twitter at FF Popcast, on Instagram at Filter Free Popcast. Follow our network on Twitter at Ram Sports Net. Timmy, we only have so much time, but I mean, can you round up the 93 shows we're doing on Patreon? The point is, we have more content than you could ever watch. Am I right, Timmy?
Well, if you go to patreon.com/Ram Network, you will get Eras, the New Generation. Football is getting paid with Tim and Dave, World Class Flashback. Wrestling with Commercials, Hard Times and Beyond. Just put it in your mouth, which is a weird one. Plus our list of 2024 events. Plus you'll get TNA Top 10 Talking Wrestling with Pondwater Dave, along with a ton of bonus content, all free for 7 days when you join patreon.com/Ram Network.
There you go. There it is.
And while we're at it, let's we told you all last weekend, no more wrestling on this show. We're going straight pop culture. If you want the wrestling, go to patreon.com/Ram Network and get all the wrestling your little heart could desire.
Eras, the New Generation, Hard Times and Beyond. So much wrestling.
So this may have just slipped through the cracks what we just said. We're no longer doing wrestling on this show. It is straight pop culture. We're replacing the wrestling, and we're doing an ultra deep dive on an event that happened in this month, in the past, that changed our lives for better or for worse. And I love the first show we're doing here. It's a great topic. It's kind of sets the tone for now. I'm ready to go. You guys ready to do this?
Always.
Hit it.
Because this week, we're going back to of 1990. You guys ready for this? However, before we get to that show, there is no show. Let's see what was happening in your world yesterday. Let's run through some events filter free. Up first, Timmy. Story that this June 1st, Dow Jones high of 2,900.97. As of June 5th, when I wrote this show, it's at 38,807.33.
I should have bought some Microsoft back then.
We all should have. Done a lot of good. June 3rd, the third annual Children's Miracle Network Telethon raises $894,560. Good.
I bet that was a lot in 1990.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do, I should have done the inflation calculator. I did not. June 4th, Dr. Jack Kevorkian assists a woman with suicide in Oregon, sparking a national debate that still rages on to this day.
Whatever.
If you want to kill yourself, go for it.
Yeah. Wouldn't advise helping people. That could wind up in murder.
Yeah.
But
yeah. June 4th, LA Dodgers pitcher Ramon Martinez strikes out 18 Atlanta Braves.
Ramon.
He was
Martinez. Good.
He was good. Very good.
Best Intercontinental Champion of all time.
No, that's the honky tonk man.
Razor Ramon Martinez. June 7th, Michael Jackson goes to St. John's Hospital due to chest pains after a dance rehearsal.
Well, at least he didn't catch his hair on fire.
Or June 8th, the Gary Shandling Show airs its final episode on Fox. What, Dave?
At least he wasn't fucking a child.
That's what I avoided saying. Thank you. June 8th, the Gary Shandling Show airs its final episode on Fox.
It was no Larry Sanders Show.
You're right. It was no Larry Sanders. June 9th, LA Dodgers slugger Eddie Murray ties Mickey Mantle for most games with a home run from each side of the plate with 10.
Fat ass Eddie Murray.
Thank you. June 9th, Monica Seles beats Steffi Graf in 2 sets to win her first singles Grand Slam title at the French Open. The tennis Grand Slam is the French Open, Aussie Open, U.S. Open, and Wimbledon.
If you don't know
We-
that, just go jump off a building. What are you
At
doing?
least she didn't get stabbed here.
That's true. And also, I don't know if you should be jumping off a building because you don't know the tennis Grand Slam.
Yeah, because I didn't know that.
Tennis is gigantic. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tennis is
Where?
stupid.
Europe?
The entire world.
Mm.
Did you just read the Grand Slam?
No.
Quick, Tim,
Wimbledon?
name the number 2 tennis player in the world.
Men's or women's?
Both.
Savotnica. They're a brother-sister duo.
Savotnica is 2 people.
Brother-sister duo. Look it up.
We didn't ask for pairs.
No, it's one is a man, one is a woman. They're brother and sister
Well,
from Istanbul,
Alcaraz.
Constantinople.
C. Alcaraz is the number 2 tennis
That's what
player.
I
in the
said.
world.
Welcome to Alcatraz.
He's supposed to be the next big thing for men's tennis.
Did he win the? Was he the one who won the French Open this past week?
He was, yes.
Look at that, Alcatraz
I do know that. Alcatraz.
from San Francisco, small island right off the coast.
Well,
Iga Swiatek is the number
That's what I
1
said.
Svatek, yeah.
Svatechnica.
No, it's Swiatek.
Nika. Yes.
There is no Naka in there. It's SWIA.
It's abbreviated. It's abbreviated.
It's her last name is abbreviated.
Yes.
June 9th, we have an AIDS awareness album as the Red Hot organization releases an album entitled Red Hot and Blue, featuring U2, Annie Lennox, Sinead O'Connor, and Tom Waits.
Are we going to not talk about the fact that Tim's a tennis nerd?
He's not a tennis nerd. He made it up. He's just being a tennis nerd to be a douche on this show. That's it. It's a facade.
It's almost like it's character work. It's crazy.
He's being the model Rick Martel on WWF.
Tim wants to
Superstar
bang
and
Martina
Arturo.
Navratilova.
Ugh. Well, first off, she wouldn't like that very much.
And for good reason.
What about that? What about that one that was around in the 2000s? Anna Kournikova.
Anna Kournikova?
Yes. Well, everybody knew her.
Yeah.
She's hot.
June 10th, the Portland Trailblazers lose to the Detroit Pistons in Portland for the first time since 1974.
16 years? Good Lord.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Well, one's in the West, one's in the East. They only played like once a year. So
16 times?
It's still a long time.
I mean, Portland was dominant in Portland in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
In Portlandia.
Portlandia. More on Portland possibly later.
That's where Svarvrinkva is.
Got a haircut.
It was
on the microphone.
Switnica, you said.
Whatever.
June 11th, Nolan Ryan pitches his 6th no-hitter against the A's with his final 3 outs being Ken Phelps, Ricky Henderson, and Willie Randolph, all ex-Yankees.
Must have been days off for Canseco, McGuire, Steinbach, Weiss, and Lansford. You know, the real hitters.
Yeah,
No wonder he got a no-hitter.
Was he just compiling no hitters now?
He was-
God.
yes, compiling.
Walt Weiss with his career batting average that struck the fear of pitchers of 239.
Walt Weiss was badass in 1990 till he met up
Okay,
with
let's look this up.
a
'cause
certain
you're already-
little team.
you're
Certain
already
little team
pissing
I
me
know that
off.
won the World Series later.
Walt
this year.
Weiss, phenomenal defender, wasn't worth a shit as a batter. Walt Weiss. Well, Wikipedia's not.
All right,
gonna
you
give me
keep
any-
looking it up. I'm going to go on. June 12th, Dave Righetti of the Yankees becomes the 9th pitcher to reach 200 saves. He's currently 38th all time with 252, which means he shit the bed after that. June
How many more
14th,
years did he play?
2 maybe.
Timmy, you shut up. Walt Weiss in 1990 batted 265, 2 home runs.
That would win a
35
batting
RBI.
title this year. That would
This
win a
year.
batting title this
No, it
year.
would
Yes.
He's lucky he
That would
didn't
win the
get,
batting title for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's about it.
he's lucky he
Because
didn't
he'd
get
be going against
DFA'd.
Mike Zunino.
He's lucky he didn't get DFA'd in 1990 with a 265, 2 home
Dude,
run.
I would
Holy
take
shit.
Mike Zunino back right now. The Rays,
He
Their
won the
catcher
rookie
hit a
of the
home
year.
run
I don't want to
yesterday.
hear it.
the Rays catcher is batting 0.67.
It's pretty good, right?
I could
looked-
do that.
The Reds are playing the Guardians tonight, and I was looking it up because I'm gambling again. And by the way, I bet the over on runs. The leading hitters for each team, neither was hitting higher than 280. Batting average leaders, neither higher than 280. I think it's like 275 and 277. By the way, the Guardians are like 40 and 22.
They're very good.
They're 42 and 22.
And
Okay,
actually,
And they're beating the Reds 3-1.
Jose Ramirez is quietly cementing his case as a Hall of Famer, but
is he related to Ramon Martinez?
not even the same last name, so no.
Okay.
But it is crazy that we're approaching batting average that we could say I could do that, and we probably could.
Jake Fraley for Cleveland is batting 288.
Jake Fraley is a Red.
I meant Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same town.
Same thing. I mean, it's the Battle of Ohio. They're both in Ohio. Only one of them sucks.
They're the same town. They both suck. June 14th, the Motor City Bad Boys defend their NBA title over the Portland Trailblazers in Game 5. And yes, that got passed up in stories that missed the cut.
Did they beat them in Portland?
What was the question?
Did they beat them in Portland? They hadn't beat them since 74.
No, I think they beat him. I think they won this in Detroit.
But they won some games in Portland.
Yeah.
June 21st, Little Richard receives his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Johnny B. Bad?
That's true. June 21st, the New York City Zodiac Killer kills his fourth victim, Larry Parham.
Shouldn't have been standing there.
Should not have been standing there. June 22nd, Florida passes a law that bans thong bikinis.
Lots of lawbreakers out there then, because I seen them.
More on that later. June 22nd, huge piece of baseball trivia here. The Braves replaced manager Russ Nixon with the current GM, Bobby Cox.
Cox.
I'm glad that's all you had to say about it. This is literally the start of 14 consecutive division titles.
How many World Series do you win?
1. And your
All right,
answer
there
was
you go.
Cox.
Uno. Bobby Cox is still the GM.
No,
He's dead.
Oh,
he's very dead now.
I was gonna say I thought he was dead.
He is.
This guy here
It
is
says
dead.
current GM.
Cross him.
Well, I
off.
meant
Oh, he was the
in
current GM
1990.
then.
Yeah.
Okay.
June 23rd, TV Guy selects Arsenio Hall as TV Personality of the Year. June, 27th, Derek Coleman from Syracuse goes number 1 overall in the NBA draft for the New Jersey Nets.
That worked out for him.
June 29th, in the same day, Dave Stewart no-hits the Blue Jays and Fernando Valenzuela no-hits St. Louis. The first time there's a no-hitter in each league on the same day.
Trash ass Cardinals.
And that was stories that missed the cut. Stories in the wheelhouse, June 2nd. One of the best left-handed pitchers of all time, Randy Johnson, throws a no-hitter against who else but the Detroit Tigers in a 2-0 Mariners win. The big unit is easily in the conversation of top 3 left-handed pitchers of all time and in the discussion for top 10 pitchers, period. Johnson is also the subject of one of the most lopsided trades in sports history the season prior to this in 1989. Johnson was actually drafted in 1982, originally coming out of high school, but did not sign for his team at the time, which was the Atlanta Braves. And instead, could you imagine that if Johnson would have debuted with the Braves in 1990?
They'd have had, I mean, their starting 5 would have been just sick.
Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Steve Avery, Randy Johnson would have been the rotation.
Still would have only won one World Series.
I don't know about that, Tim.
They'd have won all the World Series.
They would not have won all the World Series.
They could have hit with Tampa Bay's current lineup and won the World Series.
It's true.
And those
No
guys
way.
couldn't hit water if they fell out of a fucking boat.
Instead, the big unit went to USC, where he was a teammate of Mark McGwire, and in 1985 went in the second round of the draft of the Montreal Expos. His first major league strikeout came on September 15th, 1988, when he struck out Pittsburgh Pirates first baseman. I'm going to say this as Chris Berman would have said it: Orestes emotionally distraught. On May 25th, 1989, he was traded to the Mariners for Mark Langston. Langston pitched all of 11 games for the Expos, going 3-4 with an ERA of 4.69.
Killing
Langston did last 10 more seasons, mostly with the Angels, and won 179 games in his career. However, he didn't get anywhere near the level of greatness we saw from Randy Johnson.
Johnson's 303 career victories are the 5th most by a left-handed pitcher in MLB history, while his 4,875 strikeouts place him second all-time, behind Timmy's favorite pitcher, Nolan Ryan.
How many years did it take Johnson to get there?
Probably about the
Compiled.
same.
Yeah.
No, negative.
Johnson is a 10-time All-Star. He did it in negative years. That's pretty impressive. Johnson is a 10-time All-Star, won the Cy Young Award 5 times, and is one of only 2 pitchers to win the award 4 consecutive seasons, the other being Greg Maddux.
It's pretty good company.
Johnson enjoyed a career longevity uncommon to pitchers with his signature fastball slider combination, remaining effective well into his 40s. 4 of his 6 300 strikeout seasons occurred after his 35th birthday.
All right, so I like this. It's not often a spring training game goes down as one of the most memorable games in MLB history, but on March 24th, 2001, Randy Johnson gave us one of the most infamous moments when his pitch didn't make it to home plate. Instead, it Oh, what happened there?
You heard it. That was the worst part.
That poor
It
bird
hit the bird.
hit the bird. The
bird?
left-handed Johnson was set to throw a pitch in the 7th inning when a bird flew in at exactly the wrong time. The ball hit the bird and flew in front of home plate. YouTube videos of Randy Johnson hit the bird have racked up millions of views over the years, with one exceeding over 5.8 million views. Because
You know what would have made that even better? If the batter had swung.
That would have been good.
and hit the bird. Video show feathers falling off the bird, which is likely a mourning dove. It's a dead dove as it gets there. As it falls to the ground, Rod Barajas, the catcher at the time, said, "All you see is an explosion." Not widely known, but the Giants batter was Calvin Murray. He played 5 seasons in MLB, and you might know his nephew, Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray.
Huh.
After retiring from baseball following the 2009 season, Johnson began his own photography business. His logo, a dead bird with feathers in the air.
I love it.
Yes.
You know, we don't Rod Barajas, that is a solid catcher name we don't hear enough of anymore.
By the way, Jeff Kent went out and picked the bird up.
Because Jeff Kent is a nerd.
And like smiled and made gestures at Johnson, and Johnson was pissed.
I'm surprised.
And now we have bird flu. Thanks
Yeah.
a lot, Jeff Kent.
I'm surprised he didn't roid rage and like eat it in front of him. Or something.
He went Ozzy Osbourne on the dead bird.
I wonder if Rod Barajas is going to be in the next segment.
But today, I'm the greatest of all time.
Here it is. H. Pressure with 3. Winston's going to run the ball. Makes a guy miss. Come down there. Over the second rafter. Off the floor. Nothing but net. Through the window. Off the wall. Nothing but net. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
So here we go. Box score trivia. Again, we're no longer keeping score. We are back to just blurting shit out. Batting average leaders 1990. We're going to go 4. And there's some names on this list that you probably won't get, but when you hear their name, you're going to go, oh, shit.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. No.
Terry Pendleton.
Who?
Fat ass Eddie Murray.
Terry Pendleton.
Terry Pendleton. No. Eddie Murray. No.
Willie McGee.
Willie McGee. 6th, 324.
Was that
George
National League
Brett.
or American League?
What?
National League or American League? I think this is the year he switched league.
This was the year he was traded, yes. So I don't know. Dave, what did
George
you
Brett.
say? George Brett, 2nd, 329. There's 2.
Barry Larkin.
No, of course not.
They won the World Series this year.
There are no
Andre
Reds on this list.
Dawson.
Andre Dawson, 8th, 3.
Mark Grace.
10th, 309.
They had
Got
two
off
hitters
four.
in the top 10
they were
and couldn't
probably-
get out of the basement.
Yeah, they probably didn't win 63 games this season. Here's the top 10. 9th, Bip Roberts of the San Diego Padres, 309.
Cincinnati Reds legend Bip Roberts.
7th, Rafael Palmeiro, 319. 5th,
Damn.
Ricky Henderson, 325 of the Oakland A's.
He's the greatest of all
Cocaine.
time. Why would we not guess him?
4th, that felon committing Len Dykstra, 325. You ready for this one? 3rd, Dave Magadan, 328.
New York Mets legend.
That's right.
Dave Magadan.
And your two league leaders, George Brett and Eddie Murray, batted 330 of the LA Dodgers. Let's go home runs. Let's do
Jose Canseco.
Let's do 5. Jose Canseco tied for 437.
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds tied for 833.
Bobby Bonilla.
Crime
Bobby-
Dog.
Bobby Bonilla tied for 1032. Fred McGriff tied for 635. Bonus
Andy
point.
Andy
I don't know
Van
why I'm
Slyke.
saying bonus point. Bonus point if you can name the team for McGriff.
Who? McGriff?
Cleveland.
90? Toronto.
Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah.
No Andy Van Slyke. I'm ashamed you even said it.
Cecil
Darryl
Fielder.
Strawberry.
Cecil Fielder led the league with 51. The only player to get more than 40. Here's the rest of your top 10. Tied with Bonilla, Ron Gant, 32.
Legs like
Damn.
tree trunks, man.
Tied with Barry Bonds for 8th, Matt Williams, 33. Tied with Fred McGriff for 6th, Kevin Mitchell, 35.
Cincinnati Reds legend Kevin Mitchell.
3rd, Mark McGuire, 39. And 2nd
Steroids.
of your Chicago Cubs, Rhino Sandberg, 40. Let's move on to pitching. I'm actually excited for this. The league leader in wins this year had 27, and I promise you will not guess them. So let's do 4 winners here.
Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens, 4th, 21.
Jose Rijo.
Jose Rio, no.
Danny
Dave
Jackson.
Stewart.
Danny Jackson, no. Dave Stewart tied for 2nd, 22. There's 2.
How many we need?
2 more.
Are there any Reds on the list?
No. How did you guys win the World Series with nobody of note?
Well, we had a lot of very good guys, not great guys. I was gonna guess Jack Armstrong because he won the Rookie of the Year that year, but
Nope.
wins. Said Dave Stewart.
One of the guys was in stories that missed the cut.
Oral
Struck out eight.
Hershiser.
Struck out 18.
Eddie Murray. Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, no.
Monica Seles. Ramon Martinez.
Ramon Martinez.
Yeah!
Tied for 5th with 20. You need one more.
You have to do something here, Timmy. I'm doing it all.
Maddox.
No. No
Lavin.
Braves. No Braves.
Oh, well, Maddox could have been a Cub.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point, but no Cubs either.
Give
Toronto,
us
Toronto, Seattle.
Dave Steeb.
Dave Steeb tied for 8th with 18. Here's the rest of your top 10 with Steeb. Eric Hansen of the Mariners and Chuck Finley all had 18.
Eric Hansen, come over here and have a seat with me.
Have
for
a seat.
second,
Have a
sir.
seat right over here. 7th of the New York Mets, Doc Gooden, 19. 5th,
Cocaine.
that was Ramon Martinez. We guess him every time, but this time Frank Viola had 20.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Tied for 2nd with Dave Stewart. Doug Drabeck of the Pittsburgh Pirates had 22.
We whipped his ass in the NLCS that year.
Well, you didn't in the regular season. And the league leader with 27 of the Oakland A's, Bob Welch.
I love his grape juice.
I love
jelly?
his grape jelly. I knew it.
I
Let's
said
do
juice.
saves to close out.
Randy Myers.
See if you can give me 3. Randy Myers tied for 9th with
Dennis
31.
Eckersley.
Rod Beck.
2nd, 48. Rod Beck, no.
Rob Dibble.
No.
Bobby Thigpen.
Fernando
Let the-
Rodney Sr.
57. This was the year Bobby Thigpen crushed it. Here's the rest of your top 10.
Tom Hinkie.
Tied with Randy Myers. Lee Smith had 31.
He was still alive?
Huh?
He was still alive? I thought he
Yes.
died.
No, he played like 8 more years after this. Tied for
No
seventh. with
way.
Ed Aguilera and
He
Tom
started in
Benke.
71.
Fifth, Dave Righetti of the New York Yankees with 36.
Spaghetti Rigetti.
Fourth, Greg Olson of the Baltimore Orioles, 37. Third, Doug Jones, another great mustache, had 43. And that was box score trivia. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, Lee Smith.
Lee
go to
Smith
NFL
came
now?
in
That was so much fun.
1980, and his last game was in 97.
1997.
And he's
was
still
the-
alive.
He started in 71.
80, and he's
Same
still,
thing.
and you're like, he was still alive? He's still alive.
He's still alive. And he played 8 more seasons after this.
I bet he didn't get many saves.
I bet he did. This is a bad
I
son
bet he
of a
had
bitch.
at least 4.
June 12th, a name that is synonymous with the 1990s, Mariah Carey releases her self-entitled debut album. If you
It's
go
a
over the
deb-
biggest
it's a
musical
debut
acts
album.
of the 90s, Mariah Carey is somewhere near the top. The origin story of Mariah Carey into the music business mimics that of Cinderella. She had recorded a demo in 1988, and under the guidance of Brenda K. Starr, Carey had handed that demo off to the head of Columbia Records, Tommy Mottola, at a music executive's party. It was 1990, so there was probably Coke and martinis everywhere. Mottola listened to the tape and on his way home in the car,
Coca-Cola?
and immediately turned around to go find her. When he arrived back at the party, she was gone. Mottola spent the next 2 weeks trying to find her. By the time Mottola found her, another label was bidding for Mariah, starting a bidding war. She eventually signed with Columbia and was marketed as the main female voice of the record label. She was immediately thrust into the spotlight for top female name with Madonna of Sire Records and Whitney Houston of Arista. Her first public appearance was at the 1990 NBA Finals, where she sang America the Beautiful. More on this in a bit. There's not, because we're not going to talk about the NBA Finals, and I don't really know why I wrote that. When she finished, she hit a note that forever cemented her in the conversation of best musical voices ever. Pat O'Brien remarked after the performance, "The palace now has a queen."
Didn't she marry Tommy Mottola?
That's true.
Yes. We'll get to that in just a second. Don't worry.
The boxer.
I'm here.
Mariah Carey generally received positive review, with critics praising Carey's vocal performance and technique, but were ambivalent towards her songwriting. Ambivalent.
I was
They
getting
were
ready to
also
correct you, but I just
also
saw
taking
it.
Ambien. Just so they wouldn't have
She
to
does
listen
take
to it.
Ambien. It became a commercial success, topping the U.S. Billboard 200 album chart for 11 consecutive weeks. Mariah Carey was certified 9 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, denoting shipments of 9 million copies in the United States.
It's a lot.
Tommy Mottola bought 8 million of them.
I bought one.
It's a lot. Also a lot.
The album experienced similar success in Canada, where it topped the charts and was certified 7 times platinum.
Maple syrup.
Hey,
5 singles were released from the album, 4 of which became #1 hits on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100.
first off, fuck the song All I Want for Christmas Is You. Hate that shit.
'Cause all I want for Christmas is you.
It's not the song, though. It's just how
Baby,
much.
baby, I
Hey,
don't want a lot
please,
for
please.
Christmas.
Why
I
are you
won't even wish
Shaking
for
fake
snow.
titties. What?
Because that's what
okay.
she has.
I don't think they are. I think they're real.
Well, good for her
No.
if they are.
Her
What?
boobs got way bigger over time.
Well, guess what? Her brain did not. Carey has been labeled a diva for her stardom and persona.
Jesus.
Her style has often been described as eccentric and over the top because she's crazy. In her memoir, she stated, quote, "I refuse to acknowledge time. Not living on time became a way to hold myself, to keep close and keep alive the inner child of mine. It's why I gravitate toward enduring characters like Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and Tinkerbell. Cuckoo, cuckoo." When asked about American singer Jennifer Lopez on a German TV interview, Carey's response was, "I don't know her."
Those were her boobs in 1990.
Well, like I said, maybe her brain fell to her boobs. I don't know.
She had a big brain back in 1990.
After the release of her song Obsessed, critics heavily compared its lyrics to Eminem, who negatively referenced her several times in songs and suggested Carey alluded to him and his obsession with her. During her career, she has dated the entire population of West Manhattan, including that Tommy Mott's apple juice guy, whatever his name was.
Matola.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Does West Manhattan have a lot of people? I don't know that.
Yes, it's New York.
It's 12.
No, I know that part, but I mean there are smaller parts of New York, and it's not all the city.
There are no smaller parts of New York. And to date all of them would be a lot. Like if you dated all the guys in an apartment building, that's a lot.
I mean, you'd be busy and you need a lot of showers for sure.
So what
I'm
you're
sure
saying is
I'm sure she's gotten busy several times.
roast beef.
Does
Does that mean it's my turn?
Out of the question for that young lady, then.
I guess not. Thought it was my turn. That means it's my turn. Let's go to Timmy's Trivioke.
Figaro. Figaro, 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 Figaro.
That's not Tosca.
Ugh, my ears. My neck. My back.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. Everyone remembers when Elvis performed that.
Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take it from Bermuda. Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego Bay. All right, getting back to our roots now, where we're going to have to.
You think Mariah Carey could do the Arby's jingle?
Absolutely. We have the meats.
Mariah, I have the beef.
I bet her.
I take the meats.
I bet her
this-
underwear just says Angus across the front of it.
You think like when she's getting ready to lady nut, she's like,
Someday.
You said lady nut to start the whole thing.
Ah! All right, let's go. Song number 1. Remember, this is pyramid style now. Clue number 1, Oakland music.
the Beach Boys.
Clue number 2, please don't hurt him.
MC Hammer. Hammer don't hurt him. Oh.
Clue number 3,
Oh.
pants.
MC Hammer. Hammer time.
Clue
MC
number
Hammer
4,
too legit to quit.
this is a beat you can't touch.
You can't touch this. MC Hammer. Yes, got it. Woo,
Dave
win.
gets it.
Got
Whoa, ooh, can't touch this.
Now.
Music hits me so hard, makes me say, "Oh my Lord, thank you for blessing." All right, you guys obviously don't know that. All right, cool.
Oh.
Wrong.
They both get a
Hammer
point for
time.
that.
No, Dave got it, and it wasn't
Why?
close. It wasn't close.
Because I got it, fool.
He got it.
This is bullshit.
That's why Tim now leads in movies.
What?
Song number 2.
You guys
Clue
talk
number.
before the show?
Clue number 1. Nose and glasses.
Barbara Streisand.
Close. Clue number 2. Burger King bathroom.
Oh,
Humpty Dance.
Humpty
By,
Dance.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
What you're doing,
It's
'cause I'm
underground.
about to ruin the image and the style that you
Oh,
used
that
to.
you used
I
to.
look funny.
look funny.
But yo, I'm making
Yo,
money. See,
funny,
yo,
six,
whoa,
yo,
yo, be
wanna
ready
hope
for
you're
me.
ready
My name is Humpty.
Around. I'm the new fool in town. I'm
Yeah.
by the underground. I
You
drink
guys
Love
love
ever see,
on yourself. So just let me introduce myself. My
Myself.
name is Humpty.
You
Pronounced
guys ever
with
watch the movie Nothing But
Humpty.
Trouble with Chevy Chase? and
Yes,
Demi
they're
Moore?
in it.
Yeah, they're in it, and so is Tupac.
It's
He's
a
in the
terrible
Entourage.
movie, but they're in it.
It's a god awful movie, but he's in it with Tupac. He's in the Entourage.
All right. Song number 3. This is for you, TJ. This song is very close to my heart. Clue number 1. Prince.
Pussy Control.
You picked the Prince song?
Pussy
Pussy
control. No,
control.
it's not actually it. By the way, I have a friend. that used-
1999.
By the way, I used to have a friend that sung that at karaoke.
Purple
So
Rain.
funny. Clue number 2.
I don't like him.
Bald.
Batman. What's the name of the Batman song?
Clue number 3, Pope.
D'Angelo De Niro. Got it.
Clue number 4, several hours and 15 days.
That's a long time to be
That is a
bald.
long time.
It's been several hours and 15
Oh, Sinead O'Connor.
since you took my love.
Nothing compares to you,
away.
Sinead O'Connor.
Correct.
Nothing compares.
Dave gets it. A clean sweep.
Wait, hold on.
to
Stop it.
you.
Stop it. You do this new style of Timmy's Trivioke,
And
you
Dave
go
kills
out.
it.
You end the bit with that shit.
Nothing compares.
Wow.
It was the highest ranked song on the Hot 100 that week compared to all the others.
We might have to pull your music credentials. I don't know if you're going to be able to do this.
Dude, I had to do something by a white person so you might get one.
And you picked Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
I mean, 1990, you had like,
There was no death metal on there, dude. Sorry.
there probably was. It just wasn't well known yet. But I mean, there's, well, no, the Proclaimers wasn't even until 92. Meatloaf didn't do something.
Not in 90. That was like
Who are the
94.
Proclaimers?
I would walk
When I wake up,
500
well, I'm
miles
gonna
and
be.
I
I'm gonna
would
be
walk
the man who wakes up
500
next to
miles.
you.
I heard TJ's song. I never heard that one.
And
since.
I would walk 500
Or
miles.
is that the same song?
I would walk. It's the same song.
And their name's the Pretenders?
The Proclaimers.
Proclaimers.
Same thing.
No, the Pretenders were a different band.
They were.
All right, you guys carry this for a minute. I'm going to pee.
Nothing compares. Nothing compares.
You. June 22nd. Saturday Night Live adds a piece to their roster that wound up being a key member of the show's resurgence in the form of Adam Sandler. Here in 1990, SNL was making quite the rebound after suffering significant drop-offs in popularity throughout the 80s. Several SNL alum and historians of television have all agreed, had it not been for Eddie Murphy in the early to mid-80s, SNL would have folded up shop. This was after the show's immense popularity at inception with legends like John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Gilda Radner, and many others. All the mentioned names left the show to pursue film career and left no one to take the helm in the mid-1980s. Eddie Murphy kept the show alive, but even he left by 87, and now the show was without any stars and without Lorne Michaels. Michaels returned toward the end of Murphy's run and needed to scout and find new starts. That doesn't make sense. Stars is what I wanted to say if SNL was going to survive. He started by hiring Billy Crystal and Martin Short just for instant star attraction in 84 because they were already established Hollywood stars. However, the appeal still wasn't there, and the show actually canceled in 86, but producer Bonnie Brillstein convinced Brandon Tartikoff to give it one more season. From 86 to here in 1990, this is why I love doing stuff like this. SNL recruited Phil Hartman, Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Chris Farley, Kevin Nealon, Norm Macdonald, Chris Rock, David Spade, John Lovitz, Dennis Miller, and Victoria Jackson. I believe we call that the murderer's row of improv.
While performing on stage in Los Angeles, Dennis Miller caught his act and recommended Sandler to SNL producer Lorne Michaels. While Sandler initially auditioned to be in the cast, he was ultimately hired as a writer and didn't make his first on-screen appearance until December of 1990. Sandler officially became a featured player in February of 91. After spending a few seasons as a featured player and writer, Sanders became a full-fledged member of the cast starting in 93. Due to low ratings and then NBC West Coast president Dan Ohlmeyer having a different sense of humor, Sandler was released from SNL in 95.
Barry or
Yeah, all of them.
Reggie.
Sandler was released from Saturday Night Live in 95 at the end of the show's 20th season.
that was a good plan by
Despite
him.
that, Sandler's fame and popularity continued to rise when he left SNL to pursue a film career. Though not always loved by critics, movies like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and Big Daddy connected with audiences, making Sandler one of the top-paid comic actors/writers working in Hollywood.
Correct.
Best Adam Sandler SNL character. For me, it's Opera Man.
No.
I love Opera Man.
I like Cajun Guy.
Cajun Guy was solid.
Cajun guy
was solid. Yeah, you're right. You might have me on that one.
All right, so we did Sandler fun facts with Happy Gilmore because that is my favorite Sandler movie. Fact number 1, Timmy C saw this film 7 times in the theater, with the last being the day he went to see Adam Sandler live in concert. By the way,
Nice.
Kick-ass concert.
Nice.
Tell me you're kidding.
No.
I would love to go see Adam
We
Sandler.
had a $1.75 theater in Florence. Saw 7 times. Easy Friday night. Let's go watch Sandler again. During scenes involving Mr. Larson, he had to stand or lean on items. In one scene, it's a fence. Another, it's an actor. This was due to a severe automobile accident. In 1992, he suffered head trauma, losing his ability to balance without aid. I bet that nail in the side of his head probably didn't help either.
Comes out next week.
When Dennis Dugan told Bob Barker that a stunt double would be used in the fight scene, Barker insisted on doing his own stunt, saying, "Wait a minute, I know how to fight."
That's tremendous.
By the way, Bob Barker studied Tang Soo Do for decades under Chuck Norris and his brother Aaron Norris, so he wasn't lying. Bob Barker knew how to fight.
Not real. I don't think that's real.
No,
I
that's
could take
real.
Bob
That is
Barker.
a real fact.
I could take Bob Barker.
You're right. He's dead now. So
He's dead?
But
Yeah.
no, seriously.
Bob Barker's not dead. He's like 100.
He trained under Chuck Norris. He died last year.
Oh, did he really? Where was I?
Because of Bob Barker's cameo, ratings for The Price is Right rose considerably among college-age viewers, including myself, even though I enjoyed
Rest
it.
in peace, Bob Barker.
In 2016, Vern Lundquist stated he still gets a monthly $34 check from the Screen Actors Guild for his appearance in the film. I loved him in that movie.
nice.
Christopher McDonald, in an interview March 22nd this year on the Carmen and Lima show, which was on 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland, revealed that Adam Sandler had shown him a first draft script of proposed Happy Gilmore 2. By the way, it was also later confirmed on the Dan Le Batard show.
Yes. By the way, for
Coming.
those that don't know, Christopher McDonald is Shooter McGavin.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast. No.
Happy Gilmore was good, but I'm not going to go see it 7 times in the theater.
That was
It's not-
oh God.
It's not cop and a half good.
Have you ever listened to his albums?
It's not
Yeah.
top and a half good. I have 5 Adam Sandler albums on my phone.
The first one was the best.
Oh,
I'm going to
my-
laugh at you.
No,
They're all gonna laugh at you.
the one with the goat.
that
The one
was
with the goat was the best. The skit
So-
with the fucking
Toll
goat where
Booth,
he's playing
Willie, all
football.
those were the best.
so the dude. I remember I was not supposed to listen to those when I was a kid. So I remember playing the CD on my sister's jukebox in her room and then putting my ear against the speaker so I could turn the volume down.
Piece of shit car. You got a piece of shit car.
It was.
God, I love it.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
What's your name? Oh no, it was what the hell happened to me. Then what's your name?
What the hell happened to me? That was his best one.
Yes, I agree.
Dude, I'm so high. I
yeah,
smoked all that weed you gave
That weed
me.
I sold you. it
Oh,
was
is that in that
pencil
bag?
shavings.
That was pencil shavings. Oh. Must be this acid. You see that cloud up there? It's got a vein. It's bleeding on me.
Yeah, it
man.
was this piece of the notebook paper. Like it's there's no weak spots in those albums. They're all
Dude is a fucking
fantastic.
genius. Love it.
All right, hit my clip. Oh, it's time for Dave's Fave. Have you seen it?
You slip her the hot beef injection.
I got nothing, guys. Huh?
me get my notebook out here. Hold on.
Please stop showing us that empty book you have.
There's
The
lots of
first
writing in it. You got to learn
The
how
first
to deal
page
with
just says you're full of shit.
All right, the score was 9-9, but after a clean sweep on Timmy's Trivioke, Timmy now leads 12 to 11.5.
What is this now?
All right, here we go. 5 movie this week. Have your paper and pencil ready. Movie number 1 with a budget of $46 million in 1990. $46 million.
Pretty good.
Our first movie this week grossed more than $162.7 million at the box office. This film is one of Dave's faves, and I seen it in the theater. This is an American action crime film. The comic strip detective finds his life vastly complicated when Breathless Mahoney makes advances towards him while he is trying to battle Big Boy Caprice's United Mob. This film stars Warren Beatty.
Oh,
TJ's lost.
Yep.
Timmy C.
Dick Tracy.
Tracy. Timmy C.
Yeah, I have seen that one. I've seen Dick Tracy.
The comic strip. What? That didn't give it away?
Timmy, I don't know if you know this. There's been like 9,000 comic book movies.
Not in 1990.
There was probably 8 in 1990.
Just no, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. That was the only one.
And Ninja Turtles.
With real people.
All right, here we go. Movie number 2. If you don't get this, you lose all of your points.
Wow. No pressure.
With a budget of $5 million.
Holy shit.
Our second movie this week grossed more than $70.7 million at the box office. This is an American sports action drama film.
Sports action.
A young, hotshot stock car driver gets his chance to compete at the top level. This film stars Tom Cruise, Robert Duvall, Randy Quaid, and Nicole Kidman.
This is in my top 3 ever.
This made me want to get. It's made me want to get stopped by the cops drinking moonshine.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh my God, the girl's so hot. They're nice hooters. Timmy C.
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. All right, Boches.
Rowdy Burns.
Timmy leads 11-10.
Let me out of the car, Cole. Let me out of the car. Let me out of the car now.
A movie that is so good and accurate to NASCAR life representation. To this day, when they do the retro paint jobs, somebody's Rowdy Burns and somebody's Cole Trickle. To this day.
Here we go. Movie number C. With a budget of $30 million. Our third movie this week grossed a disappointing $25.4 million at the box office.
Ouch.
By the way, just so we're clear on this, when you say the budget is this, double the budget because the advertising budget doesn't count in that budget. So if it's 30 million, it's 60.
Maybe
25.
not in 1990.
No.
This is an American fantasy comedy film. A widowed father tries to support his children after he dies in an accident. Well, you see, this movie stars Bill Cosby and Kimberly Russell. It's a pudding pop.
Ooh, I know this one. I know it.
Timmy C.
No idea.
TJ.
Cassibbly, bibbly, bubble, bobbly, Ghost Dad.
Ghost Dad. TJ Steppins.
That is so stupid.
One of my, I loved that movie when it came out when I was a kid.
It's terrible.
It's awful now. In
Love the pudding pops and the roofies and
there's not one mention of pudding pops in the entire movie.
lots
That's
of
probably why it
roofies were
sucks
handed
so
out backstage, though. Don't worry.
All right,
Not as bad
movie
as Leonard
number
Part
Z.
6, but it's pretty bad.
On a budget of $40 million. Movie number Z this week grossed $245.1 million at the box office.
That's shitting and getting it.
American science fiction Western film. Stranded in 1955, Marty learns about the death of Emmett in 1885 and must travel back in time to save him. With no fuel readily available for his DeLorean, the two must figure out how to escape the Old West before Emmett is murdered by Mad Dog. This film stars Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. T.J. Steppins.
I can't remember if there's anything after this, but it's Back to the Future 3 for sure.
Got it.
Back to the Future 3.
He didn't write the whole thing out. He wrote abbreviation.
By the way, happy birthday, Michael J. Fox. Back to the Future 3.
Last movie of the week. We are tied at.
We are tied. It's like 12-12.
12-12. Here we go.
Hold it.
With a budget estimated to be as much as $80 million.
Estimated to be
In 90?
1990.
Wow.
Our last movie this week grossed more than $261.4 million at the box office.
Barely seems worth it when you say the budget number.
This is an American science fiction action film. When a man goes in to have virtual vacation memories of the planet Mars implemented into his mind, an unexpected and harrowing series of events force him to go to the planet for real. Or is he? This film stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sharon Stone.
I got nothing. I have no idea.
Timmy
Twin.
C.
Total Recall?
Boom! Timmy C! Total Recall! I wish I had 3 hands. 13-12, Timmy C.
Not as good as The Running Man.
Yeah, one more week
Because
to
it doesn't
go.
have Richard Dawson.
But by the way, before we get to our last story, next week's show, the main topic, can't wait.
Killdozer, baby!
Boy. But this week's show, also good as we go into the deep cut here. That's the name of the new name of the main story we're doing. This is called The Deep Cut.
Or
Here we go.
we could have called it Mariah Carey.
I don't like that. June 10th. Instead of watching a wrestling show and commenting on it, which we will still do, but only on www.patreon.com/RamNetwork, when we do our monthly watch-alongs and whatnot, instead we're going to deep dive into this story. Instead of giving you a very basic rundown of what happened like we normally do, we're going to dig deeper on cultural impact and also sort of open the windows on us three as people rather than just talking heads you see every week or here. With that, here we go. The rap group 2 Live Crew is arrested in Florida for violating obscenity laws. Reminded, this is the state that made thong bikinis illegal earlier in the show. We mentioned that in the stories that missed the cut. The group 2 Live Crew started in 1984 with Fresh Kid Ice, Brother Marquis, Luke, and Verb. It's my love that someone named themselves Verb. This whole obscenity thing began in 1989 when 2 Live Crew Adverb released their third album, As Nasty As They Want to Be, which had a giant single on it in the form of Me So Horny. I mean, everyone knows that song.
Me so horny.
Everyone knows that
Me
song.
so horny.
The American Family Association, which fuck those people, did not feel that the parental advisory sticker was enough to warn listeners of the content of the music, because God forbid they have to have conversations with their children that they don't want to have. The AFA took action in 1990, and this obscenity charge was brought forth. This happened because a county circuit judge in Florida, Mel Grossman, ruled that probable cause of obscenity violations did in fact exist, and even warned stores of the potential dangers of selling the album. I'm going to repeat that. Dangers of selling the album.
There could be
dangers of making money. I don't know what dangers there was. Luther Campbell of 2 Live Crew said that people should worry about issues regarding hunger and poverty and not worry about the lyrical content of their music, and I could not agree more.
Band leader Luther Campbell and member Chris Wong were arrested several blocks from the club about 3:05, according to Broward County Sheriff spokesman Al Gordon.
You
Warrants were
should
issued
probably
for
fill that in. That they were arrested after performing in Broward.
By Sheriff Gordon
Yes.
from Batman.
No, Sheriff spokesman Al Gordon.
Oh, well, yeah, fuck that guy.
Warrants were issued for 2 other band members, David Hobbs and Mark Ross, who deputies failed to nab following the performance at Club Futura, Gordon said. You got to let me get there, dummy.
Yeah, dick.
Well, you should have led with that.
The arrest prompted a swift denunciation from the group's lawyer. This has now brought this to a ridiculous level, said Bruce Rago, a law professor at Nova University. I assume pretty soon that Broward Sheriff Nick Navarro is going to have roadblocks on I-95. A federal judge in Fort Lauderdale ruled that the group's sexually explicit album, As Nasty as They Want to Be, was legally obscene by South Florida standards. Navarro vowed to enforce the ruling, and the following week, record store owner Chris Freeman was arrested for selling the record to an undercover deputy.
Jesus.
What are we doing?
Overcrowding in prisons. No,
sorry, what'd you
got to
say?
keep the 2 Live Crew out of their hands.
$14. Here you go. Also, you're under arrest. Like
Freeman and the band were targeted for arrest because they publicly stated they would defy the ruling, Gordon said. The same as with Mr. Freeman. When you go on television news and announce that you're going to do what you damn well please, that's all fine and dandy. But if you do it in Broward County and it's in violation of Florida statutes, you're going to be arrested, Gordon said. Ragal said band members knew they risked arrest. We talked about it and certainly recognized that there was potential, but Luther is not looking for trouble.
Well, first off, Broward is not Miami, so
I also hope.
Trust
I hope
me.
they weren't.
Miami's
I hope
in
they
Dade
also
County.
were not wearing thongs.
Miami is completely lawless. There is no way anyone got arrested in Miami over this.
Broward's like Fort Lauderdale.
Ted Bundy was literally arrested in Miami.
That's how bad you have to be to get arrested in Miami.
You know what
You
he
got to
got
kill like 42 motherfuckers.
Do you know what
to
he
get
got arrested
in
for?
Miami?
Do you know what he got arrested for?
Buying a 2 Live Crew album.
Breaking taillight. Broken taillight.
That happens.
Yeah.
Quote, a lot of people have gotten the impression I'm this rude, sexual deviant or something, Campbell told journalist Chuck Phillips. But contrary to what has been printed about me in papers, I have no moral threat to anyone. I'm just a hardworking guy marketing a new product. His product is sex and I like it. In 1992, the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit overturned the obscenity ruling from Judge Gonzalez, and the Supreme Court of the United States refused to hear Broward County's appeals because they're trying to arrest fucking rappers for making an album. Piss off. As in the Freeman case, Gates testified on behalf of 2 Live Crew, arguing that the material that the county alleged was profane actually had important roots in African American vernacular, games, and literary traditions and should be protected. Not sure about all that stuff, but it's an album. It's music. Who cares?
Half of it's bullshit, but yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah. Displeased over the decision of Florida Governor Bob Martinez, Bob Martinez,
No, it's
who
Barb.
upon being, he's kind of a bitch, so he could be Barb.
Barbed wire.
Upon being asked to examine the album, decided it was obscene, which like, hey, Barb, listen to this album and tell me what you think. And recommended local law enforcement take action against it. And over subsequent action of Broward County, Florida Sheriff Nick Navarro, who arrested local record store owners on obscenity charges for selling the group's albums, which we talked about earlier. And then they arrested the guys. All right, yeah. The group included the song Fuck Martinez, which also includes multiple repetitions of the phrase Fuck Navarro. The group found 2 other men at the same names and had them sign releases, as they thought this action would make it impossible for Martinez and Navarro to sue him. Hats off.
Yeah, smart.
Like you guys. Get after it, 2 Live Crew.
We laid out the story. Let's discuss it. This story is literally older than all of us, but I feel that us three.
It's not older than any of us.
No, I meant this.
Obscenity is older than all of us.
George Carlin started fighting this shit in the 60s. And then before him was what the hell was that comedian's
Hitler.
name? not what? What
Charlie
did he just
Chapman.
say? No, the George Carlin's
Genghis
hero.
Khan.
Anyway, I can't remember his name. So
Rodney Carrington.
Tommy, please, Timmy, please stop guessing people. So, but anyway, this obscenity story is as old as the hills, and with our generation, we've literally seen it argued in every frame of life, whether it be television, movies, music, and our generation specifically video games. I've heard this ad nauseum about video games, and it's tiring. And again, to me, my opinion, this whole thing boils down to parents who want to whitewash the world for their children and just have them in this wall of this is what's awesome and great and there's no harm out there. This is just it, the bubble. They don't want to have these discussions with their kids about what life's really like. And you're going to hear shit like this. And here's how you respond to it. And if it's aimed at you, throw an elbow in the diaphragm. And so instead of like having these constructive conversations with their kids, they do this shit and try to arrest all the people who are just trying to express. This is all this is. They're trying to express themselves. And they found they're good at it, which Two Live Crew is excellent at it. And they've made great money at it. And now they're trying to stop it. And now this isn't just them stopping Two Live Crew. They're trying to stop people from selling Two Live Crew and listening to Two Live Crew.
Well, and they did the same thing to NWA in the late 80s.
Same
So,
time.
I mean, it's
Same time frame.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm slightly older than you two, so you look at it as video games, but all this music stuff, that parental advisory sticker they put on music, did the exact opposite of what they were hoping for.
But
Because
everybody,
I can tell
I
you
would
at
only
my
buy
age,
it.
when I saw that advisory sticker, I'm
Yes,
like,
I
I
bought
want
it.
what they got going on.
yeah.
Because it started with NWA, Guns N' Roses was big about it, and then it got to Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
Because like I would go to the album store and like, man, The Offspring just released a new album. I need to get it. And you'd pick up the two, parental advisory, no parental advisory. Fuck that one. I'm getting this one. This is the good one.
Yep.
Still to this day, I'm in my 40s and I download everything on my phone.
That's
If
explicit.
it says clean version, nope.
Yeah,
I
the
get
real
upset
version.
because I accidentally download the clean versions of it.
Well,
Like,
what's
"Damn it!"
happened is I updated the app, and a lot of my songs have updated to the clean version. So now I got to go back and find the explicit versions because I don't want that clean shit. I want to hear the real
I
song.
don't want that clean shit.
Well, again,
You sound like all of Mariah Carey's boyfriends there.
I want the clean version.
I
don't
don't want
want
that clean shit.
But again,
Roast beef.
I don't know what to do with it. So, again, Timmy, you said to me it's all video games. And that's not true. What I'm saying is the biggest argument to this in my life has been video games. I was 5 when this happened, so I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But when I was old enough to start noticing things in the world, it was Mortal Kombat and Tekken and all that other shit, right? In 94, 95, 96. But this is old as the hills. And to me, in my perspective, because I had great parents that told me about, and by the way, my parents got divorced in 1994, and I still had these conversations of like, hey, there's going to be some really weird shit you're going to see out there, and here it is, and here's why, and this is what you should do about it.
And
But
here
not
are
all
pictures of it.
Huh?
Nothing. Keep
But
going.
not all parents are willing to have that talk. And to me, this story is you have a group of parents, this American Parental Dental, so whatever it was called, they
The American Parent
Dental Association.
Colgate. I don't. But
This
whenever
music will give you plaque.
You know what the sad part about this is? That album wasn't that good. If you'd have just let it lie, it'd have sold
It was terrible.
70,000
because-
copies.
Because of all this hoopla,
Yeah.
they made so much money.
Yeah.
But and it's to me, it's just they're not willing to let their kids be exposed to things like this at an early age, which I think all three of us as a parents would agree there is a time and a place that this is appropriate, that they can be exposed to this. There is too early of a time, but the fact is it needs to happen relatively early. I'm not saying like 3 or 4, that's probably too soon, but 8, 9, 10, I think would be reasonable. They need to be exposed to this stuff. They need to know what it sounds like. They need to know how to respond to it.
You cannot
Right.
go through life
And
with a
that's how
helmet.
that's
No.
how you prepare children in the real world, as opposed
And you have
to
to talk to them as a parent of
Exactly.
a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Or I guess she's 11 now. She just turned
Yeah.
11. So,
Well, but it's
but you
like-
have to have those conversations, man, and
Yeah.
you have to, because whether you want to believe it or not, they hear shit at school.
absolutely.
And
they
it's-
hear shit
and-
at home, but they understand that
Yeah,
that ain't for
so,
them.
but-
That's for adults.
So, but you have to have that conversation with your kids. And I'm not the type of person that wants the government having the conversation for me.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
like to parent my own child my way.
Yes.
And I probably parent a little bit different. Like I said, I like the explicit songs. They hear them. I try
Hey.
not to play overtly sexual crazy shit around them, but they're going to hear the explicit versions of a lot of songs just because that's what happens. But my kids know right from wrong. And that's the thing is you're teaching your kids right from wrong. They know what they can say and can't say.
Right.
And they know what's going on in the world.
Like I used to have a radio show, for those of you who know me well enough. Had it for 2.5 years. So it wasn't like I filled in one night and that was my career. It was 2.5 years I had the show.
It was kind of like
And-
Delilah, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of. And I talked about it on my show. It was to say, so all my shows from Monday through Friday were recorded. And then Saturday morning was live in the studio. So Saturday morning I was in the studio and I talked about it because this was 2014, 15. And I don't remember why, but video games were coming back into the conversation because it does it like every 10 years. It comes back. And how it's ruining the youth of America and all this dumb shit. And I told people on the air, well, this time it wasn't. It was ruining the youth of America. It was making the youth lazy. That's what it was this time.
Well, it still is. I mean,
Sure. But again, is it the video
Yeah.
games making them lazy or is it the parents? There's a difference. If the video games aren't going to make them lazy, if you let them make them lazy, they're
Well, that's the thing. Too many people let electronics parent their children.
parents or kids. Exactly. So I said, video games don't make you lazy. I said, I started playing video games when I was 5 years old. And at the time I was 30. I just turned 30. And I said, I haven't missed a day. And I can tell you confidently at 39, that's still the case. However, so at some points to people don't understand how expensive it is.
expensive. Is that a word?
Expensive it is to be a video game dork. It's a very expensive hobby. Like at the time I was working a factory job and my radio station job just so I could keep buying video games. I said, so the video games making you lazy is bullshit. That's only because that's what you want to think.
I don't even know what video game system I own.
I have so many.
I have some sort of Xbox One, but I don't know if it's the one that's going to let me play the new NCAA football game.
You know what I have?
is.
I have the old school mini Nintendo now.
I have
That
an
is the
actual-
brand newest video game system.
But
I,
no, I
uh,
have an Xbox One, but the new NCAA football game is only going to be on Xbox One X and S. Or
I have an
whatever.
original Nintendo right there.
Yeah, but you own much newer stuff.
I do.
That is the newest that I own. Like I
But here-
don't do video games.
But like
I play very rarely.
my mom and I, we had conversations because I was much closer to my mom than my dad when I was growing up, and we had talks about you're going to hear this in music and you're going to hear this in movies and TV and so on and so forth. But we'd also sit down and watch stand-up comedy specials together, right? So like because so she could explain things, I guess. Like
To me, that was where it was important because stand-up comedy was a big part of my childhood. and watching things like Richard Pryor, Eddie
Yes.
Murphy,
George
George
Carlin.
Carlin.
Jeez, I thought I
And-
was cutting edge listening to Jeff Foxworthy.
Well, I appreciate Foxworthy. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about explaining that to your kids. But if you get into like Ron White territory, Ron White gets a little blue, and I appreciate that.
I don't know. Like, to me, like, I think we're at the point, and I got a feeling because it feels like it's been enough time. We're probably ramping up to have another one of these disputes. It just feels like it's time. But to
It's an election year, so it's definitely time.
Well, now it's video game violence causes people to go out and kill people.
Well, that was
That's
Columbine.
their normal. That's
That started with
normal.
Columbine in '98.
Anytime there's another shooting,
cover
it's going to be
it
video game
next
violence.
week on Killdozer.
Which that dude was like 53 years old when he did that. But to me, like, this whole argument, because it's happened so many times and it's been proven and defeated each and every time. It's, to me, this argument is lazy and tiresome. And quite frankly, I'm over it. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's the whole, again, it's a facade. This argument is a facade because people and parents are not willing to have conversations with their kids that may be uncomfortable. And
here's the thing. I was never a big video game player because we had an Atari and then we had a Nintendo, but my stepdad didn't let us play video games all night long. And he didn't really let us do much anything anyway, because at our house where we lived before we moved to the lake, the den and the living room weren't separated by much. So if he was watching TV in the living room where he always was, he didn't want us doing shit over in the den.
Right.
And back then we didn't have TVs in our rooms and everything. The Nintendo was hooked up to the TV in the den. But most of the time we were outside playing anyway, so we didn't give a shit. But so video games were never big to me. My little brother, all the time still, but he's all computers, not video games, but computer games. But I never got into computer games. The only computer game I've ever played is what's the Oregon Trail at school.
Oregon Trail.
I think that's about it.
Don't die of dysentery, please.
But I've never been a big video game guy. I've usually had, I've had the PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 2. I had a PlayStation 3, an Xbox 360. And now I have the Xbox One. But I play it here and there, but never longer than 30 minutes. But my attention span's that of a batshit crazed gnat. So, I mean, I play a baseball game. Like if I'm playing the show, it's 6 games because you're only playing when you bat and a couple times in the field. It's not like you're literally throwing every pitch.
Right. That's your pitcher.
So I'm playing for 20, 30 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, time to go do something else. But that's how long my attention is for stuff like that.
Right.
So but I get it. But there's a reason why when I lived in Illinois, when it's warm outside, we're always harping on my children, get outside.
Yeah.
Because it was so cold during the winter. They spent a lot of times cooped up watching TV, watching their iPads, doing that kind of thing. And I don't want that.
Right.
And my girls don't play video games. My youngest, so I just bought a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, my daughter's playing Switch right
and
now.
I kind of bought it for them just in case they wanted to have something to do. But I bought it because I'm going to Europe and I'm like, oh, I can play Mario Kart or something on the airplane, kill a couple hours.
Fun.
But so my youngest just said, Daddy, there's a Switch game I want. Okay, go buy it on Amazon. But they'll play for 20, 30 minutes and it's the same thing. They don't really play it that long. My youngest likes to sit there and watch YouTube on her iPad all day.
That's all.
My oldest likes to read and write. So she is working on writing. She's 11 and she's writing her own book.
Wow.
She sits right here on my MacBook and types away all night long.
Good.
It's going to be way better than anything you could write, by the way.
Probably.
Actually, and I think we can close on this. Is we're actually having. I just reminded myself. We're actually having this argument again right now in the form of these dumbass library book bans we got going across the country. Here's why I say it's dumbass. If it was true intentioned, good intentioned, an actual plot, and ironic, I use that term in a library book ban, and like here's this is the book, I'd be fine with it. Especially if I believed that book was obscene. Now let me tell you why it's batshit, and it's to benefit the parents only. It's not for anyone else. Let's not confuse the issue. I just read a story. I'm sorry, I didn't read it. I saw it on TV. There was a library in Oregon that's under fire because there was some book. I can't remember the name of it. I do know. I'm not trying to be controversial. It's just a fact. It was an LGBTQIA plus book.
Well, yeah, that definitely checked all the boxes.
And they wanted, and it's in middle of, it's not even Portland. It's middle of nowhere, Oregon. And all these parents got together. We want this book banned from the library. They tried, they pursued their government to have funding banned from the library and won. They succeeded. They pulled the funding from the library. Here's the fun part. The book they were demanding the library have pulled to begin with, they didn't even have it. So they went on this crusade to have this book ban, went as far as to go to their local government and have the funding pulled for the library just to find out the library didn't carry the book that upset them. And that's why, again, I say these stories are so much more important than, oh my God, this kind of inconvenience to Live Crew, which, to be honest, actually completely
helped them, made their career.
Popularity. Yeah. You wouldn't know who they were if not for the story. But this shit, this fight for right, TV, got to clean up TV, books, and video games and music and crap.
Jimmy Swaggart,
all
700 Club, fuck off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in an election year. I really need you to pay attention to me right now. All these fights you see on TV to clean up the books, the libraries, the music, the video games, everything else, it's all bullshit. It's fake. It's for votes. It's for attention. It's for likes. That's it. Because I guarantee you, as soon as this election cycle dies, it's going to go away.
Well, and I caught a lot of flack on Twitter not too long ago over my stance of, I mean, it really surprised me how many people commented and were upset that, guess what, guys? You can have friends on the right. You can have friends on the left. You can have disagreements. You guys can believe in different things.
Literally us three on this show right now.
All three have different views.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, trans, black, white, green, Martian. I don't give a fuck. You live your life.
Mm-hmm.
Live your life. But just because I believe one thing politically and you believe one thing politically, I'm not going to treat you any different. I think both the right and the left are all batshit crazy.
Absolutely. Correct. Amen. But I mean, we all know which way I lean. Sure.
I'm a gun-toting.
You lean back.
But I mean, I don't lean that way for morons or any certain way. And I wish that people could figure it out to where, like, hey, you know, there's some good shit over in the middle. Let's meet in the middle here and let's do what's best for the country, not what's best to line our pockets. Mm-hmm. And all of this, everything that we're seeing over 2 Live Crew, over things that happened to NWA, over this, that, and the other, dude, they do not care what these people are really doing.
Correct.
They're pushing a narrative towards people to line their pockets up and to get reelection. Mm-hmm. That's what all politicians do.
Yep.
Everything is about money. Money.
Yeah.
Money. Money.
There is no color that matters black, white, yellow, purple, whatever. The
Green.
color that matters is green because they want what is going to make them the most money, and they will say whatever they need to get that money.
That's why I laugh at so many people that just go absolute batshit over Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Barack Obama or George Bush.
All assholes. Just
but
so
like
you know,
I said,
all of
but like
them.
I've said before, none of them give a shit about you.
Correct.
None of them.
Correct. Not one.
And you guys losing sleep over this and wanting to wage a war over your fellow countrymen, over wanted to do whatever. Dude, these people do not care about you. They will never think about you. You mean nothing to them. Yeah, how many people are upset that Donald Trump got indicted and I mean, are we being serious here? Was it something petty? Yeah. But I mean, this whole thing with Hunter Biden, if it wasn't Hunter Biden,
all petty. It's all
bullshit. It's all bullshit on both sides, and they're all doing it all in the name of money.
So I love
money.
Going somewhere and seeing like, hey, how's it going? Oh my God, you just heard this person said this. Can you believe that? Yeah, I totally believe it. Absolutely.
To be fair, Dave and I kind of stoke it in a different direction on Twitter. Like sports fandom, just as crazy as politics. Because if I put something out there about Deshaun Watson or any Josh Allen, name it, I've been come at all week by like I'll just throw something out and be like, this guy's a trash bag. I'm gonna drive to your house. Well, you're not going to drive to my house because
actually, Timmy, we need to discuss. Are you going to hear yourself on Patreon? I think we should do. That's how it should be done.
I should.
And here's a tweet from today. This guy, whoever it is, who is the single best college football player you've ever witnessed play in person? And he wrote me, Caleb Williams at OU. My response: you only been to one game or something? His response to me was, the man has a Heisman Trophy and was the number 1 overall pick and one of the most stacked quarterback draft classes ever. The very first response after that from somebody a little early to be calling it the most stacked ever. Usually need a few to pan out before jumping to that. Just because there was 6 quarterbacks drafted in the top 12 does not make it the most stacked quarterback draft ever. You fucking moron.
Okay, so
people go so mad. They go so mad over sports.
Yes, anything.
Dude, and I'm laughing.
Politics is worse. Literally.
Politics is worse.
We talked about this. Second. Someone posted something about a lady. There was a tweet put out that was guy told me he made 6 figures, only made 103,000.
Yeah,
and whatever.
6 figures.
And the picture was a African American lady. I responded. I said, she's got more than that in food stamps. Set everyone off. Just black people I'm like, what? Black people? What? Why? No, I'm not. I'm talking about gold diggers. Doesn't matter whether she's white, black, Mexican. I don't care what she is.
Yeah,
it's a dumb statement. And they're like, well, black people make up. And I'm like, I hate you. I hate all of you.
I didn't research the tweet when I sent out these 3 words. Like, I don't, what are you doing?
Don't worry. People will jump in your fucking comments that have researched it. And I'm like, you don't get it either. So both sides, I'm like,
they're going to listen to this show, which we've been ramping for forever and I love it. But people are going to listen to the show like, why did they quit doing wrestling? Have you fucking seen wrestling? So that's why wrestling Twitter is a hellscape. Just on today's show, some butthole. I'm not even going to acknowledge his name.
Butthole. That's rude. You hurt his feelings.
I don't give a shit. What the fuck ever. Your listeners are wrestling fans because we told them we weren't doing wrestling anymore. And then he says, and when I say listeners, I'm talking about both of them. If you don't want to listen to our show anymore because we're not doing wrestling anymore, bye, bitch. Like
Patreon.com/Rem Network.
What did you do? Fast forward the first 55 minutes of every show we ever did? What, like,
literally the vast majority of our shows were not wrestling.
Correct.
And by the
Talked about
way,
wrestling at the end. I was gonna
By
get
the
really
way,
mean about it, but I thought it was somebody else who's not all there, so I
Sure.
was much nicer about it.
That's also why I didn't say their name.
But
by the
I
way,
will fuck off, guy.
Yeah.
You don't
every-
like
every-
it. Fuck off.
everything we've done tonight, very good. Maybe until this last 5 minutes, but very good.
So
I mean,
today-
but see, this right here, people want to know the real thing.
This is
The three of us are three really good friends in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're together, we don't usually do this over text message, but when we're actually in rooms together, these are the kind of conversations that we have together about things. It's not always wrestling and sports. We talk about lives. We talk about our families. We talk about things we think are fucked up. We talk about things we like. We talk about things we don't like. We talk about the fact that the Tampa Bay Rays just beat Chicago Cubs 5-2. I mean, it's stuff like that we talk about.
Bullshit.
And literally every single day, Timmy, myself, and TJ talk to each other in some way, shape, or form, no matter what.
Yep.
And we
Correct.
can't wait to get back together and do things because these are the kind of conversations we have. And a lot of conversations we have before we even hit record on our shows are outstanding.
Yep.
And we kind of went and thought, you know what? Maybe we need to have some of these conversations on camera and being recorded so you guys can see what we're doing in real life and not just what we're doing notes wise. We're giving you a deep dive into something every week, and then we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to talk personally about it and things that connect to it.
Sure.
And I mean, and if you don't like it, fuck it. This is what we want to do.
And you know what? We're gonna clown on each other the entire time. So
that's what we do.
It's gonna be fun.
Also, and if you can't handle somebody making fun of you, but you make fun of them,
again to remind everyone, fly in my room.
Gnats, goddamn gnats.
The name of this show is literally called the Filter Free Popcast, and our first T-shirt we ever did was that Filter Free Popcast and the Ed DeBevics logo, and the bottom said "Filter Free, like it or not." Well, guess what? You're going to get us filter free for real from now on.
Agree.
That's why we're not doing wrestling. We want you to know us as people. Wrestling is such, and listen, all three of us love wrestling. Don't misunderstand. Look at behind my head as I'm talking to you. But wrestling is such a minuscule part of our lives. We want to get into things that matter, like 2 Live Crew getting arrested for obscenity, because it laid the groundwork for the rest of the 90s and even to today. Next week, and this is how I'm going to transition into the X.
I don't know how this is going to lay the groundwork.
Well, I'm laying the groundwork to transition out of the show. Next week, we're doing June of 2004, which is the famous Killdozer story, which in this man's eye was just and verified, and he was fighting a good fight. And in reality, he is nothing better than a domestic terrorist. And we're going to discuss all those things. What?
I'm a fan of him.
That's what I thought you said. So, this is. I hope you like the show today. This is what we're doing now. You're going to get.
I think they do. I think this is going to be received well.
You're going to see music, television, sports, and then you're going to see us rant for an hour. And
other than Harmon Killebrew, he didn't like it.
Just because we're not doing wrestling at the end doesn't mean there's not going to be wrestling stories.
There will be wrestling stories when it's appropriate.
Yeah,
it's got to be a big story, not just
something big happened in wrestling. We're going to talk about it. You know, Hulk Hogan joins the NWO.
1997, Randy Savage beat Disco Inferno on Nitro.
All right,
but this is it. Filter free.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us, TJ. Wrap it up. You're the host.
If you enjoyed this week's episode, please let us know. Give us. By the way, I have no copy for this. Memory over 3 years. Please leave a review wherever you get this podcast. Also, while you're at it, follow the show on Twitter at FF Popcast, on Instagram at Filter Free Popcast. Follow our network on Twitter at Ram Sports Net. As for us, you can find us on social media at Timmy C.
At Timmy C 1979 on X.
You sellout. Dollar Bill Dave.
Adverb. Follow me on X at Dave in the HSV.
And I am on Twitter and Instagram at TStevens91. Next week, we're doing June of 2004. Again, we're talking Killdozer. That will be the big story. This has been the Filter Free Podcast, and so long for now.
Joke of the week. Joke of the week. What do you call a chicken staring at lettuce?
Chicken salad?
Box
Chicken Caesar salad.
Yes.
I hate y'all.